Does size really matter? It's a question that has echoed for centuries. In whispers behind closed doors, in the loud bravado of locker rooms, in the fantasies sold by movies, magazines, and the adult industry. For men, it's often a source of pride or insecurity. For women, it's a topic wrapped in layers of honesty, half-truths, and what they feel they can't say out loud. But today, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'm not here to give you the same recycled answers you've heard 100 times. I'm here to give you the truth, the one truth that applies to all women, and the one truth that biology itself confirms. Society has made size the ultimate measure of sexual satisfaction. And let's be honest, it's easy to see why. It's simple to measure, it's a number. And numbers feel definitive. But here's the problem. Sexual satisfaction, especially for women, is not a math equation. It's a symphony, and size is just one instrument. An instrument that means nothing. If the rest of the orchestra is off-key, when we strip away the ego, the insecurity, and the Hollywood exaggerations, science tells a different story. A story that makes size look far less important than you've been led to believe. Here's what human biology tells us. A woman's sexual satisfaction is an intricate dance between her body and her mind. Yes, anatomy plays a role, but it's not the role you think. A woman's pleasure receptors aren't limited to one place. They're spread throughout her body, in her skin, her lips, her neck, her inner thighs, and the most important sexual organ she has. It's her brain. That's right, the brain is where arousal begins, where desire grows, and where satisfaction is processed. This means the way you make her feel before you touch her matters just as much, if not more, than what happens in the bedroom. Biologically, women are more responsive to emotional cues than visual ones in the context of sexual bonding. Translation: if she feels emotionally connected to you, safe with you, and desired by you, her body will respond to you more intensely than it ever could from size alone. This isn't wishful thinking. It's backed by countless studies on female arousal and orgasm. Research shows psychological stimulation plays a far greater role than sheer physical dimensions. That's why a man can be considered perfect, physically, by shallow standards, and still leave her unsatisfied. Meanwhile, a man who is attentive, confident, and tuned into her unique rhythms can give her experiences she will remember for the rest of her life, regardless of size. So why do so many men still obsess over size? Because it's easier. It's easier to focus on something you can measure than it is to master something intangible. It's easier to blame biology than to take responsibility for learning the skills that truly matter. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If you want to be unforgettable in her mind, in her heart, and in her body, you need to do the harder work. You need to become fluent in her language. The language of subtle cues, the shift in her breathing, the softness in her eyes, the way she arches closer when you found exactly the right touch. The science of female desire. When you engage her mind, her brain floods with dopamine, the chemical of pleasure, and oxytocin, the chemical of trust and bonding. This cocktail of neurotransmitters is what makes her feel deeply connected to you, safe with you, and wildly responsive to you. You could be the most physically average man she's ever met and still be the most passionate lover she's ever known. Not because of what you have, but because of how you use what you have. Story 1. She's with a man who checks every box physically. Tall, muscular, impressive in all the ways society says matter. But in bed, he's disconnected. He's focused only on himself. He doesn't notice when she's uncomfortable or when she's craving more of something. Now, she's with a man who, by the world's shallow standards, is average. But from the moment they're together, he's attentive. He notices the way her breath catches when he whispers something in her ear. He senses when she wants him to slow down and when she wants him to take control. He's present, he's tuned in, and he's fearless about exploring what makes her light up. Which man will she remember 10 years from now? The answer isn't hard. If you want to know what really matters, stop asking about size. Start asking, am I paying attention to her needs? Do I know her tells, her microexpressions, her changes in breath?
Am I confident enough to slow down, to listen, to learn?
Because here's the thing, women remember how you made them feel long after they forget what you looked like. Most men never become truly great lovers because they never stop to learn her. They focus on performance instead of connection. They measure instead of mastering. Being exceptional in intimacy requires courage. It requires patience. It requires you to put your ego aside and focus completely on her experience. And when you do, you'll discover a truth that no magazine headline or locker room brag could ever teach you. Her deepest satisfaction comes not from the size you are, but from the depth you reach. From this moment on, stop chasing a number. Stop worrying about what you can't change and start building mastery in what you can. Learn her rhythms. Read her silences. Pay attention to the details that every other man overlooks. Make her feel like the only woman in the world, not just when she's in your arms, but in your mind and in your soul. Because biology confirms it, the ultimate measure of satisfaction isn't found in inches. It's found in how deeply you can touch her mind, her trust, and her heart.